Get your outline out. Now, I'm going to show you something I bet you didn't even have any idea that there's so many different kinds of grief. And this is all the negative grief. Because remember, grief is a gift from God. Y'all need to write that down somewhere when somebody's grieving. Grief is a gift from God. Grief, honestly, when they were traveling in the wilderness, he would give them a month to stop and let them grieve. Because it is a chance for you to hold on to what you need to hold on to and let go of what you need to let go of. So it's a gift from God. Without it, we can go for years and be paralyzed. So this is awesome. All right. Our first little paragraph here. Who has not questioned the reason for pain and suffering in the world? Some people have become hardened by their losses. Others have become softened. God used their grief to cultivate them in tender, understanding hearts. Jesus understands. He's a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief. We do not have a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but we have one who has been tempted in every way such as we are, just as we are, yet without sin. Let us then approach the throne of grace with confidence that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in our time of need. Hebrews 4:15 and 16. And then finally, cast all your cares upon him, for he cares for you. 1 Peter 5 and 7. But I also want you to turn right now, my Bible. This is one of the scriptures the Lord just gave me. And I never thought about it as grief until just then. And when I thought about it that way, and I see it as a grief scripture, wow. Romans chapter 5. Romans chapter 5. Verse 6. I also saw this. This is a salvation scripture, which says you don't have to be good enough to get saved. You just have to be smart enough to take his hand. Right? You don't have to be good enough to be saved. You have to be smart enough to take his hand when he reaches out. But it says, for when we were yet without strength, in due time Christ died for the ungodly. That's a salvation scripture. But also, if you take it and you put it in context, not just salvation, when somebody's grieving or somebody has a loss, they're needing some form of salvation. Not salvation for your soul as in getting you into heaven, but salvation as in safety and recovery from what you're going through. Remember, salvation is not just getting you ready for heaven, it gets you ready for earth. Salvation, the word salvation, again, that word means to recover. It also means to heal. So if somebody that's struggling with grief, let me just read it again in a different passage of scripture. Romans 5 and 6.
Okay.
Romans 5 and 6. Now I'm going to read a couple other Greek passages so that you see what I was talking about. While we were yet in weakness, powerless to help ourselves. When somebody comes up, like yesterday, I was sitting there and I was working on my homework. And while I'm working on my homework, I look down because I'm getting ready to leave the house. I'm working on my homework. I look down at the text, and one of the guys Daddy used to work with, and isn't even working with him now, text me and says, "Your daddy, did you know your daddy's in the hospital?" I just talked to my daddy the night before. My daddy was fine. And so he said he was working with Jimmy, which that let me know then it wasn't his heart. In fact, that's the problem he's having, his heart trouble. And so, definitely yesterday he got a stress test. There's no doubt about it. So I call my stepmom. She answers the phone. And she says, I said, "How's it going?" She says, "It's not good." And I said, "What's going on?" She says, "Well, it's not his heart, it's his hands." Said he was working with a brake and the metal squished his fingers. He's at Moses Cone Hospital. He was in the emergency room. They thought they were just going to stitch him up and take him on, but they're waiting for a surgeon. And they said, "It just called me, so I hadn't called you yet." The surgeon just took him back to put bones in his finger, or rods, so because it was crushed. So, again, when I first heard it, after I already knew the night before, Daddy's having problems with his heart. First thing that hit me was, oh no, he's had a heart attack. When I called and my mother-in-law says it's not good, again, you just assume. Your mind's running all kinds of things. You assume it's his heart, he's had a heart attack, you know, and then she says it's not his heart, it's his hand. So I said, do I need to go up there? She said, no, just wait, I'll let you know what's going on. So I just waited, and then I talked to him 30 minutes later. And he said, I'm okay, son, I just can't film home.
So I give you two half thumbs.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Linton.
I asked my stepbrother to give me a before and after picture. So the before picture was y'all already seen it. The after picture is with his thumb up with bandages on it. So again, when we're without strength, when we're weak, when something like that happens and our heart just drops within us, because he died for us, he's got the strength to pick us up. He's got the strength to help us. Hey, I love this other one here. It says, Christ arrives right on time to make this happen. He doesn't wait for us to get ready. He presented himself for the sacrificial death when we were far too weak and rebellious to do anything to get ourselves ready. And even if we hadn't been so weak, we would not have known what to do anyway. So remember, that could go along with grieving. That can be a grieving scripture. So here we go. We talked about it, started talking about it last week, and we're going to talk about healthy stuff starting next week. But this is one of those not so healthy. What are the characteristics of chronic grief? Now, chronic grief is when somebody just continues to hurt over the same issue. Well, it doesn't have to be the loss of a loved one. It can be the loss of a job. It could be the loss of a position. It could be the loss of your home. It could be the loss of whatever. It also can be the loss of a relationship. It can be a loss of anything that's significant to you. Anything. So it doesn't have to be death. Anything. Y'all say anything. Anything. There's times where if I had a special pencil or pen or a gift that my grandma or my granddaddy had given me and gone somewhere to get, and then I couldn't find it. And I felt bad about that thing. It wasn't major like losing a loved one, but still, every time I thought about that pen, I'm like, oh, I wish I could have found that pen. Again, that's a small, tiny grief, but it can be major ones too. So, if there's something, a loss in your life, if there's something that you went through, some kind of experience that you've gone through that has caused you much pain, and there never seems to be any resolution, if the pain never ceases, then you're in chronic grief. Right? Know that. That's not me saying that. That is psychologically, that is mentally, spiritually a given. You'll see it in the Bible too. So here it goes. Allowing yourself to be open and honest about your intense sorrow takes great courage. You say, I don't want to talk about it, but you know what? Your body's talking about it all the time. Your mind's talking about it all the time. You're just being hit by it all the time. And so if you don't deal with it, you're going to be hit negatively. But if you start dealing with it, then you can get some positive energy from that and really bounce back. People do many things to camouflage or ignore their grief, so you don't have to acknowledge and work through it. But again, you have to acknowledge your grief, acknowledge what's hurting you, and you have to work through it. So, here we go. As a result, they have an unhealthy, chronic grief, which is a barrier to emotional maturity. Pay careful attention to those words. An unhealthy, chronic grief. Something that will not leave you alone. You fight it every day, sometimes every hour. It touches every relationship. It is a barrier to emotional maturity. Yep. So, the unresolved sorrow blocks the comfort that Christ wants to give us. If you got your table of contents, turn to the book of Nahum. Or Nahum. Nahum. And just hold your finger there. Nahum chapter 1, verse 7. Nahum. Yep. Nahum. This comes out a whole lot better looking through your table of contents than anything else. Go ahead and get it. Nahum. I can tell you a shortcut. It's between Genesis and Malachi. I'm playing. You got to look it up. Look up Nahum in your table of contents. If it makes you feel any better, when I'm trying to look it up, I look it up in my table of contents too if I'm in a hurry. Believe it or not, when I was in Bible college and I was studying the Old Testament and New Testament, I could name off all 66 books in order. I'm not sure I can do that. It's mine. He's a minor prophet. Yeah, he's a minor. He's a minor.
2 books after Jonah.
It's on page 906.
In his book. Oh, look, if y'all look, hey, if you get the book out of you, if you get the hardback book out of the back of the church, the blue hardback book, Bible, it's on page 900.
You got the one out
Yeah,
there. Okay, you got it.
Okay.
If you got
here-
the red one, it's 1289.
Okay, here we go. Y'all ready? Y'all hold your finger there. Hold your finger there. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5, verse 4, "Blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted." That's what Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5. We talked about that. We had a whole series of sermons on the Beatitudes, and mourning was one of the Beatitudes, and we talked about it for a whole Sunday. But as everything goes, that's why we have service every Sunday, because we get bits and pieces and it helps us, but it's almost like, here's what you have to think about as Sunday services. Sunday services serve as a bridge. Serve as a bridge to the next Sunday. To the next Sunday. It's all right. Bethany was in the bathroom and she didn't know it, so she turned out the light and left Beth in the bathroom. So Bethany hollered, "You turn out the light." Here we go. I had somebody do that to one time at Procter & Gamble. I was in the bathroom that I was not familiar with. About 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, I was already sleepy. Weren't familiar with even the surroundings. I was in a building I weren't used to. And somebody come in that I was in there, used the bathroom and turned out the light. And I didn't have a flashlight. Oh, the other time I had a flashlight on me. Okay, so here we go. Matthew chapter 5, verse 4. Remember, that's why it's important to go weekly to church, because church and Wednesday nights too, or Tuesday nights, because what it is we actually, because our attention span and our retention rate, we retain much of it, but we still lose a lot of it. So what it is from Sunday to Sunday, it's a bridge. The service is a bridge from Sunday to Sunday. That's why there's so many topics going on. And it's amazing to me how you can do one topic and find out later that it helped 10 people in 10 different ways. Okay, so because it is a bridge, it's like Mighty Army. You know, this morning I was in Walmart going to get some medicine, and when I was in Walmart getting the medicine, I come by and somebody said, "Thank you so much for Mighty Army. That thing hit right on the nail this morning." Said it just blessed me, and I said, "Yeah, I'm wiping my sweat too." Remember throwing in the towel instead of throwing in the towel? You didn't get it. That thing, that's that app. That app sometimes will.
It's kicked me out.
I'm about to put you back. I'll put you back
It's
in.
kicked way out too.
Okay, both of you. I'll put you back in. So it's that app. That app's got a mind of its own. So I'll put both of you back in. If y'all are in the Mighty Army and you get out, all you got to do is text me and say, "Look, I got kicked out." A few weeks ago, I think I had about 5 people tell me they hadn't been receiving them. And again, it's that app that I have. I send out 610 Mighty Armies in the morning. And here's how God works. It started out for 2 people. There was just 2 guys going through some hard times. So I started sending to them. Then I started writing Mighty Men. And then some other guys said, "Can we get in it?" And the prison guys said, "Can we get in it?" And the wives are saying, "Can we get in it?" It went from Mighty Men to Mighty Army. And before long, now it's 610. And I will take out 1 or 2 a week because people change phones and change numbers. And about 80% of the people that get a new phone with that new number, about 80% will say, "Who is this?" And I'll say, "It's Pastor David. It's Mighty Army. If you'd like me to take you out, I will." And they go, No, it's fine. Leave it in. I just want to know where it's coming from." But there is those 2, and just like 2 days ago, I had one woman really get upset. I didn't do it. I had no idea. I did not do it. She got a phone.
I thought you'd been busy.
Look,
That's what I thought.
no. They go out every day. They go out every morning. And matter of fact, I'll sit there sometimes and I'll go ahead and get 2 or 3 or 4 and have them sitting there. and I'll pray about it. And even though I might have them sitting there, I might not use either one of them because it has to speak to me first. When it speaks to me, then I'll put it out. And then sometimes the app won't accept it. And I'll say, okay, Lord, you're telling me not that one. And so I'll do another. But usually during the week, there's usually 2 or 3 people added to Mighty Army. And there's 1 or 2 taken out because of phone numbers changing. But still, it keeps growing. So as a matter of fact, I think it's up to 615 now. And it started with those 2 guys.
Is there a cap on that? That's good.
What I've done is I've divided up in my app. I had them all at one time, and that wasn't doing it. So I've got them in 4 sections. And I'll start a 5th section for the next. And so, that way they'll stay in there. But still, it's just a gift from God. All of that's a gift from God. First, it's a gift of God to me.
Also, if you missed any, they are being archived online. I got a link right here if you want it.
He's got a link and a cup link. He got a link. You can look on that. And I think there's been several people that put them on Facebook too. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, you put that thing up and show.
Gil showed me Mother's Day, the Mighty
If
Army.
that's the wrong page, just back up to right there.
It said somebody's mom. Mother's Day. It said somebody's mom.
Okay.
It was actually Mr. Mom. But it was somebody's mom. Amen. All right. So here we go. Romans 5 and 6. You are blessed when you wake. We're back to Matthew. Matthew 5 and 4. You're blessed when you feel you've lost what is most dear to you. Only then can you be embraced by the one most dear to you. Wow. Isn't that awesome? You are blessed when you feel you've lost what is most dear to you. Only then can you be embraced by the one most dear to you, and that's God. So here we go.